There you go. Okay, cool. Let's continue. Alright guys, we're back for part 2 of Meta Talks, and then we're going to talk about Gayle, getting right into it. Gayle has received a whole bunch of little buffs to his just his base stats, which is good. His armor per level, base armor and base health have been increased, so he's a little bit more tanky, which is good because he is a tank. and it's just overall good. Base stat buffs are always good. I always like them because they really make the laning phase feel a lot better, and it just makes everything feel a lot smoother. Other than that, his Resolute Smite and Bulwark have gotten buffed as well. Projectile speed on Resolute Smite has been increased by 100, 1300 from 1200, which isn't, it's just a tiny bit faster. AP power reduced, AP power, ability power reduced to 0.7 from 0.8, which is, it's not a big deal. But the mana cost has been reduced by 10 at the initial rank, and 10 at all ranks actually, which does actually help the early game. Then we have Bulwark. The duration has been increased to 4 seconds from 3.5. So Bulwark is his W. That's the little shield he places on you, and when you take damage, it heals you. And here's my I guess feeling towards that spell. I feel that if Bulwark gave you the first hit for free, like that first, or just even gave you like a really minor heal, like 20 or like 30 or something like that, really small heal on the first charge, like as you place it on someone, just gives you that little tiny heal, and then whatever hits you take, it heals you accordingly to whatever damage you took. I feel Gayle would be like up there with Tark, Sona, Janna, Soraka in terms of just being a great bottom lane tank / support. It'd be a new kind of support, a tank support. And that's kind of what they tried to do with Leona. It kind of feels like, but I really feel if Gayle had that tiny little heal, it would really just elevate him to that status of just great off-tank support. And the heal has been increased a little bit, but I just feel that on the first hit it should just heal for like half this damage or something like that. Like heal for like 12.5 or something. Just this little heal, just that little bit, and I feel like he could be a viable support. Like he's not bad in the bottom lane. I've tried him out a couple times in team comps and solo queue and stuff like that, and he's actually surviving. I have to test it out in scrims, but I feel if he just got that tiny little heal, that he would just be fantastic. He would just fit the meta so well, and it would just be a new support to play instead of your standard supports that everyone's playing. But besides that, this is actually a good buff for him. The 4 second duration is great, and the heal increase is great too. Isle of Durand, damage reduction while channeling increased to 50% from 30%. So Gayle, or Galio, however you want to pronounce it, literally takes like no damage, like 50% damage reduction on top of your base armor and MR, and that all scales off your HP. So if you have a lot of HP, you're really going to take like no damage. You're probably taking 20% damage that you'd be taking, or less. Like just taking no damage, and that's a good change. I feel he's a lot more viable. I have to try him out, and I really hope we can see a lot more Galeos in the future in competitive play. On to Gangplank, as one of my teammates likes to say. Gangplank, parlay gold bonus reduced to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 from 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I don't know why they did this. That really wasn't a problem, his farming. The extra, I guess they just maybe felt it was too high. Gangplank is still extremely strong right now for reasons like his passive and raise morale. They did nerf raise morale here, but I don't think they did the right thing. I wouldn't have done this. The attack speed or active attack damage bonus reduced slightly at max rank to 46 from 52. It's really like it's nothing. Like it's such a minor nerf. This is such a minor nerf. And then the active movement speed bonus reduced to 26% instead of 30%. So it's a 4% nerf, and a 6 damage reduction, like 6 damage and 4%. That's so stupid. Like, the reason Gangplank is so strong is because his passive can still just destroy people, and it's great in the jungle. So I really feel that Riot needs to nerf his passive for 3 charges instead of 4, and then they need to raise morale like an extra 5 seconds on this cooldown. It's just way too fast. It comes up way too quickly, and the auto attacks that just come with it, and the slow and off parlay and everything, he just needs to be toned down a little bit more. And I believe if those 2 changes happen, Gangplank would sit nicely in like the middle of tier 2. He'd still be viable, but he just wouldn't be that. He just really strong, and I think they just need to tone him down a little bit more still. For all you guys that care, Janna got new models and textures for Janna. So basically, instead of her hair being like, it's just like a cone head kind of thing. They just like mellowed it out, and they gave her like a spray tan on her like regular skin, and made her look a little bit more slutty. So I don't complain. I think she looks better actually. The hair, I like the change, but who cares? That's not a big patch, no change. That's not what you guys are watching this for. Jax, finally they realized. I've been saying this for the last couple meta talks about Jax. I've been preaching this the entire time. Like, last patch they did this. They nerfed the attack damage ratio on his leap strike by 30%, from 1.0 to 0.7. Like, just massive nerf, right? And they, they rebuffed it up this patch, and then they reduced the base damage, which is what I was saying for so long. I'm like, just nerf the base damage. That's what's the big problem. Don't take off the AD scaling, because you don't have a whole bunch of AD scaling at level 1, like, you do get the, from like runes and masteries and stuff like that, you get like maybe like plus 20, but it's the base damage. So if you nerf the base damage by 15, it evens him out. So he doesn't screw his late game, and his early game isn't incredibly strong anymore. Woo! Riot! I'm glad you listened, or realized on your own. Either way, good job. Alright, getting into Kayle. General, new model and animations. I don't like a new model that much. I like the old one. But community contest, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, dance animation. Woo! Attack damage per level reduced. Nerf. Attack speed per level reduced. Nerf. So Kayle got nerfed on her base stats. Holy Fervor, her passive now scales up to 10% magic reduction and armor reduction. Lasts for 5 seconds, stacks up to 5 times, so you can have 10%. Basically, I find this to be another nerf, because that means she has to auto attack, and she doesn't get this big, big AP pools at the beginning. That's what's really good. She's really like sustaining herself well in lane, and I don't like this new passive. I'm not a fan. Reckoning, so basically I'd say nerf again. Reckoning, missile speed increased to 1300 from 1000. Ability power increased to 1.0 from 0.08. Yay! Mana cost reduced a little bit. Yay! Slow increased to 35% from 25%. Yay! Damage amplification reduced to 5% from 8 to 16%. Oh my god, did you guys nerf that ability so hard. Kayle doesn't have the ability to chunk people anymore. Kayle is like sustain. Before she was like chunk sustain. Chunk sustain. With the 16% damage increase is massive. And it was good, and she was viable. Like, honestly, the old Kayle, the meta changed. Kayle kind of went unnoticed for a long time, and she just was starting to get popular again before the remake, and I honestly felt like they didn't even need to change her. Like, her laning was strong, everything about her was strong, but I didn't really feel that she was broken, I didn't feel that, like, oh my god, I have to ban Kayle. It was just like, oh, this guy plays Kayle and he's good at Kayle. Like, it is more player skill that was making Kayle good, other than anything, and I really feel they just messed up her kit completely. And even other Kayle players are like, Kayle is just so bad, and everyone's just like Kayle went like, Kayle was just getting viable again because the meta changed and everything, and turned out she was viable after all, and everyone's like picking Kayle, and then Riot's like, actually Kayle, you're going down again. We're going to see you at like tier 4 once again because you're just not that great. So Kayle's probably going to need more buffs or more changes with this remake, and yeah. Let's keep going though. Righteous Fury, cooldown reduced to 16 seconds from 22. This is a good change. That's, oh wow, a positive change for Kayle. Awesome. Bonus damage increased slightly at, actually not big time, to 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60 from 4, 10, 16, 22 28. So basically, they want her to be a big-time auto attacker, right? That's where it comes from. But still, it's okay. Like, the cooldown helps, the damage increase helps, but 16% is just so massive, and what you'd get before for just like raw attack damage. I just don't like when they change someone from being like a burst to just so much sustain now. I'm just not a fan. Then we have the mana cost was reduced slightly, but the ability power ratio was also reduced. So if you think about that, it got nerfed by 30%, 0.2 to 0.3, from 0.3 rather. So that means that all that ability power you were getting from your passive before would translate to here. So you might think, this is such a big elements, like how much damage it extra. Well, it got nerfed, plus you're getting extra AP from here, so it was actually, doing almost the same damage. It was it was reasonable. So again, I'd consider everything they've done to her a nerf again. Mana cost reduced to 45 from 65. Mana, it helps. And Divine Blessing, the heal's been adjusted to 45 from 65, nerf. At early ranks, so her lane sustain, movement speed reduced to 2.5 seconds from 10 seconds, so she's not fast at all. But the movement speed has been increased to 15% to up to 23% from 12% flat. I'd way rather have the 12% because the way it worked was you pop your heal on yourself, you pop your Righteous Fury, and then you could catch people on auto attack, and that was good. That felt good. And now you can't, because you're just going to be like, you're going to E them and they're going to be slow for a bit, and you're going to movement speed yourself and you're going to attack them, and then they're just going to get away. Before you could E them, slow them, and then keep up with them the entire duration and keep them there. And they just feel like, oh man, just not happy about this. Then the ability power ratio has been reduced to 0.35, again another nerf. The cooldown has been increased to 15 seconds from 10 seconds, and I didn't say this, but 3.5 from 0.5, so it's a 1 point, or 0.15. Holy crap, that took me a long time to spit out. 0.15 nerf to the ability power ratio. So overall, Kayle change, that's how I feel about it, and we're going to move on to part 3.